Hello, we're here with David Paul, MD of Aspire Mining. David, what's unique about Aspire?
Aspire is unique in that it's ASX listed and its assets are totally focused in Mongolia, and in particular coking coal in Mongolia. And we currently have the second largest coking coal reserve in the country, and that makes us important in that country.
Could you give us an overview of the company's assets and its operations?
Sure, we've got a number of exploration properties in northern Mongolia. We've got around 700 square kilometres. The main asset is the Yavut Coking Coal Project, which is based on a 500 square kilometre footprint, and which we've drilled about 25% of it so far. And we currently have a reserve on that of 178 million tonnes of high quality coking coal.
And tell us more, please, about Mongolia and the way it's opening up its economy.
Mongolia is a very small population in a large country. A lot of similarities to Australia. Very much was rural. It was rural based. Resources are now taking a far greater position in the country. That creates issues, stress issues in terms of inflation and rising incomes and expectations. But the country is in a form of transition. Last year it had a GDP growth of some 16.5%. And that is the biggest of any country in the world. And in this climate, extraordinary. They are still predicting double-digit growth for the next 3 or 4 years, and the country is certainly in transition based on large-scale resource development, both in terms of coking coal and also the massive Oyu Tolgoi copper gold deposit, which Rio Tinto owns.
Over the next 6 to 12 months, what will be the key catalysts for Aspire?
For us, the next 12 months, it's about working hard on all our licensing requirements to get into development, particularly mining licence, access to licences required for a rail link, which we require in order to get our product to market, and then also some additional exploration. We've got some terrific targets out there, particularly towards the east of the basin, which we want to target. Each of them are large enough potential scale as another review.
And what do you think are the biggest challenges facing the company at the moment?
From the market is essentially the biggest challenge. We put out a reserve and a pre-feasibility study some 2 months ago, and we have a world-class deposit. We have over 30, on current prices, over $30 billion in situ in coking coal sitting in the ground, and yet the price of a company, like most companies that have large capex requirements coming on, has been hit particularly badly. So really that's our biggest challenge, I think, is to get our message across as to the quality of this deposit. There's a couple of things which make it very special and very different, which I don't think people recognise. One is that it has extraordinary high yield, so when you wash the coal, you get a high amount of product out of it. Our yields are around 82%, which is at the very top. But you combine that with the fact that we also have, when we wash the coal, there is no thermal fraction comes out, which is normally the case. It's all coking coal, it's all the high-end stuff. Coking coal sells for twice the thermal coal. So given that, the amount of coal you get out of 178 million tonnes is more than you get out of a similar deposit twice the size. And that's the important, we get an incredible amount of value in situ.
And finally, could you give us an overview, please, of the company's board and management?
Sure. The board is essentially, the company was put together in February 2010. Myself, Neil Lithgow and David McSweeney, our chairman, essentially identified the project and ventured into a shell company, and we changed the name to Aspire. We've since added 3 directors. We've added 1 director is there from South Gobi, which is part of the Ivanhoe Rio group these days. And we also have other directors, Andrew Edwards, who's our an ex-senior partner in corporate from PricewaterhouseCoopers, and Mark Reed, who used to be the managing director of Sedgmans, who are obviously well-known coal processing technologists. And we also have a very important additional director, Garnikar Zandurasan, who's our Mongolian director. And it's important to understand also our company has a high proportion of Mongolian ownership, around 80% is actually owned by Mongolians. So we present ourselves as a Mongolian-Australian partnership.
David, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Cool.